Hi friends, today in this class we will cover how does the Terraform works. As a DevOps engineer, we write the we write the infrastructure code in Terraform configuration files. The files end with .tf. So we define the infrastructure, we define the resource group, or we define VMs, or we define Azure web apps. So we define all the cloud resources in Terraform configuration files and save it with the extension of .tf, and then we will run the command terraform init. It will initialize the directory, download the providers, and then we will run the terraform plan, and then we will run the command terraform apply. So this terraform core is the component which run all this command. It is nothing but a CLI. Terraform CLI is nothing but terraform binary, that is exe file. So first we have to download the terraform from that website and extract it and store that terraform binary file in a folder, and then we have to add the path to the environment variable. So when we run the command terraform init terraform plan terraform apply, the terraform core will check the state file which is in the form of .tf state. State file consists of the current existing environment status. So first it will check the desired configuration in the configuration file, that is .tf file, and then you will check the state file for the current cloud infrastructure setup. Then it will decide what needs to be created, what needs to be added, what needs to be modified, what needs to be ignored. Then it will deploy all the cloud resources. Writing and running the Terraform code follows a standard three-stage workflow. Stage 1, write the code. Stage 2, plan the code. Stage 3, deploy the code, apply the code. So write, plan, apply. First we have to download and install the Terraform. For the Windows installer, go to the HashiCorp portal, download the Windows installer, and after that we have to run the Terraform version command to ensure it is properly installed. I already downloaded. Let us try it. Terraform version. So Terraform is successfully installed in my local system. Next we have to write the code. We can use any writer to write the Terraform coding files. We can use Notepad or Wordpad. So we can use anything. But particularly we will use a VS Code. VS Code, most of the DevOps engineers, most of the developers will use VS Code to write the Terraform code. First we have to create a new file, name it main.tf. Then we have to copy this code into the main.tf. So I will create a new file, name it main.tf. So we need to copy the sample code. This is the sample code. So I will paste it in the main.tf, Save it, control S, save it. Now we have to run the command. So coding part completed. Now we have to run the Terraform workflow. So open the terminal and then first we have to initialize the directory. Terraform init is the first command we have to run to initialize the directory. Go to terminal, new terminal. Then we have to run the command terraform initialize. Now the terraform init command will initialize the directory. So this terraform unit will scan your code, identify the local provider block and download the required plugins in the hidden .terraform folder. See, it is automatically created a .terraform hidden folders. Under the terraform you will see this terraform provider. So this is the provider we specified in this main.tf. First it will, when we run the terraform init command, it will scan the code, identify the provider. Here it is a provider is local provider. Then it will download the local provider from the terraform registry. So this is a terraform provider local provider file is downloaded. So what it will do, first it will initialize the terraform and then checks and download the available provider plugins. For example, if you are writing code for Azure resources, then it will download the Azure provider, Terraform provider. So download the plugin for the providers you selected and then provide the API token for your .tf file. So then we have to format and validate the Terraform code. This is optional but recommended. We have to run the Terraform format and Terraform validate. So Terraform format, what it will do, it will auto format and your Terraform code. If any spacing is there, any extra space or additional space is there, it will remove it. It will automatically format your Terraform code. Terraform validate will check your file structure and syntax for any mistake. Validate will check your file structure. Any syntax mistake is there, it will check that one. So we will run the command fmt format. See, it will format the code. Format the code means it will adjust the spacing, everything, remove the additional spacing, everything. Then we have to run the command format validate. So success configuration value, that means no error in this code. It will check the syntax, it will check any issues there. Okay, it will check all the coding issues. If everything looks fine, it will pass the test. Then we have to preview the changes. We have to run the Terraform plan. This command will generate a blueprint showing exactly what the action Terraform will take when you execute the script. So planning will, it will preview the change. For example, if you are deploying 10 VMs and 4 web apps, if you run the Terraform plan, it will show how many resources you are going to create. It is going to create 10 VMs, 6 web apps. So it will show the plan. See, it will display in the local file example with the created message. It will just show a preview of the changes that will take place, including a list of resources that will be created or destroyed. So the step is optional but strongly recommended, especially for the production environment. We always run the Terraform plan command. It is a mandate. It is optional only, but it is recommended to run this command every time you build something or deploy something. So we will run the Terraform plan command. See here. So the Terraform plan command will check what are the resources we are going to deploy or change or modify or ignore. It will show the preview of all the things. Here it says please want to add 0 to change, 0 to destroy. That means it is going to add one resource, that is local file. And then fourth step is deploy the infrastructure. We have to run the command terraform apply. So terraform apply will, it will execute the changes. The terminal will pause and ask you to type yes to confirm. Let us try to run the command terraform apply. See here, it asks us to confirm it. Do you want to perform this action? That means it is, we are going to add one file, 0 changes, 0 destroy. So we have to type yes, YESS. For example, if I type Y, see the apply is cancelled, action is cancelled. So it won't accept just Y or any other things. Again, I'm typing yes. What it will do, it will going to create a new file named local file, named, this is the content, this is the file name, hello.txt, this is the file content. Okay, now the file is applied, apply completed, resource 1 added, 0 change, 0 destroyed. That means it created one file. See here, hello.txt is created, this is the content. So it successfully created the file. So terraform apply, once complete, check your folder, we will see a newly created hello.txt file, okay, alongside a terraform.tf state file, which is how the terraform track all the real world resources it manage. And then we have to clean it up. For the cleaning, we want to remove everything. So for that we will deploy, run the command called terraform destroy. So what it will do? The terraform destroy, this command will read your state file and safely delete all the resources managed by the configuration. So whatever the configuration is specified in the files, it is going to delete all the resources. It is going to remove all the resources. If you type yes, it will remove the .txt file. Let us run it. So terraform destroy. See here. See, it means 0 to plan is 0 to add, 0 to change, and 1 to destroy. So we have to run. We have to specify yes to delete the file. See here that hello.txt file is gone. It was removed. By default, this command destroys all the resources present in the .tf file without removing the code from the file. In this case, we want to immediately recreate all those resources or to be able to replicate the setup another time. To remove one specific resource from your provider, you can either delete or comment out the resource information in the TF file. So that individual resource will be destroyed the next time you run the apply command. So one way is remove the resource, this terraform destroy. Otherwise we can, if you comment those resources, it will be excluded and it will be deleted when the next time it will run the terraform apply command. Let us try it again. So we will run terraform init and then terraform format, or and then terraform validate, then terraform plan, then terraform apply. Now the file is created, hello.txt is created. So we have to enter OES. So now the hello.txt is now it is created. Now we have to either use Terraform destroy to remove this file, or else we have to commit it out. Go to the main.tf. So where you are going to create a file, here we are creating the file. So we will comment it out. So I had to make it a comment. So it will do nothing in this case. Then we will run the command again. So Terraform init. Terraform format. Some issues there. The Terraform validate, some issues there. Okay, so let us make sure you commentate out all items. Okay, now again run the command validate. Okay, now it's fine. So we have commented those file creation resource block, and then we have to plan it. So here, see here you say 0 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy. So whatever the item you commented in the TF file, it will be destroyed, it will be removed. So let us try the apply command. Press yes. So that now the file is deleted. Hello.text file is now it is deleted. So we can either run that Terraform destroy, or we have to comment the specific resource which we need to delete it. So there are the additional files also automatically created. If you look at, there are some additional files was created here. One is terraform.log.html, another one is terraform.tfstate, another one is terraform.tfstate.backup. These three files automatically created. Let us check it out. So terraform.log.html, it is a dependency log file. Actually, what it does, okay, it is a log file automatically generated or updated when you run the Terraform init command. So whenever you run the Terraform init command, this log file is automatically created. Its purpose is provide their version pinning. So records the exact version of the each provided plugin selected for the project. Cryptographic checksum store the hashes of the provider binaries across the different platform. Why it is smarter? This log file ensure consistency across different team members and CI/CD pipeline. So everyone build the infrastructure with the identical provider code and prevent accidental upgrade or tampered binaries. GitHub recommendation is commit to the Git so the team stay locked to the identical provider versions. So lock file is used to identify the provider version and lock it. Okay, so it will be used by the all the team members will use the exact same version only. This important file it will be automatically generated when we run the command terraform init. The second file is terraform.tfstate. It is a state file. See, it is a JSON file that serves a Terraform single source of the truth about your managed infrastructure. Managed infrastructure, for example, if you are going to deploy 3 VMs in Azure Cloud, when we run the command plan, it will check that it will create the TF state file. So TF state file will scan the current cloud infrastructure and it record whatever the available there. So that is called managed infrastructures or current status. Resource mapping. So purpose is TF state file purpose is resource mapping. Map your declared configuration code to the real world cloud resources. It will compare it and map it. What are the resources defined in the .tf file? What was already existed? It will compare those things and identify and the report us how many to add, how many to change, how many to destroy. So metadata and dependency tracking. It store the TF state file store the resource metadata, outputs and dependency graphs. It differ generation. So when running the Terraform plan or Terraform apply, Terraform compare the main.tf against the Terraform.tf state. So whenever you run the Terraform plan and Terraform apply, it will automatically compare the between main.tf and Terraform.tf state file. It always refreshes against the current cloud infrastructures. Git recommendation is do not commit to Git. State file often contain sensitive plain text data. Use a remotely backed up for some team environment. Usually this Terraform state file will be not stored in GitHub repo. It will be stored in the remote repo as well as a local system. So Terraform state file, Terraform.tf state will automatically create whenever you run the command TF plan and TF apply. The third file is Terraform.tf state.backup. It is a backup state file. It is an automatic snapshot of our state file saved right before the Terraform modifies. Its purpose is recovery and rollback, created automatically during the operation like Terraform apply, Terraform destroy or Terraform state command. So safety net is if an apply fails mid execution or corrupt the state file, Terraform.tf state.backup preserve the previous known good state, allow you to add it different or restore the previous state if needed. For example, if you are running the deploying hundreds of VMs or 50 web apps, during the execution, if it is failed or hung or stuck somewhere else, this backup file will help us to track and complete the activity. Comparison Terraform.log.html file is it will logs provider version and cryptographic hashes. So it will be created whenever you run the Terraform init command. Commit to Git, yes, we have to commit the .log file. Terraform.tf state, it is a current state mapping of the managed resources. So it will be created when we run Terraform apply and Terraform destroy. So it should not be commit to the Git. TF state.backup file, snapshot of the state file immediately before the modified state and it won't be committed to the GitHub repo. Thanks for watching. We will meet in the next class.